Hello, my name is Caleb Crane, and this is my persuasive speech on why student athletes should be paid. Did you know there are more than 400,000 NCAA student athletes? This number includes athletes from big sports all the way to small sports. These student athletes bring in the revenue and fans for the NCAA, yet the NCAA leaves these full-time athletes with debt to pay. The NCAA should pay student athletes for the work they put into the sports they play and make the NCAA money. In this speech, I will discuss the time and effort the NCAA student athletes put into the sport they play just for the NCAA to use their likeliness for money. NCAA student athletes put an excessive amount of time into sports they play, which causes them to have less time to make money for their college debts. In 2015, Peter Jacobs wrote an article for Business Insider called "Here's the Insane Amount of Time Student Athletes Spend on Practice." He talks about how much time student athletes spend not only playing sports, but also at practices and sporting events. These athletes spend an extreme amount of time playing and practicing sports, so they only have time left to do homework when sports are over, which leaves them no time to do other things like make money. Now that I've discussed the time student athletes put into their sports, let me move on to my next point, which is the NCAA using student athletes' names as revenue. The NCAA uses the players' names as revenue with jersey sales and video games, and they do not give the players royalties. In 2001, Matthew G. Matzkin wrote an article called "Getting Played: How the Video Game Industry Violates College Athletes' Rights of Publicity by Not Paying for Their Likeliness." He talks about how the NCAA and video game producers use real college stars in their game. The student athletes did not profit from this because video game producers would not include their names, so producers did not have to pay them. In 2010, William Halthus Jr. wrote an article called "Ed O'Bannon versus NCAA. Do former NCAA athletes have a case against the NCAA for its use of their likeliness?" He talks about how collegiate merchandise is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Colleges sell jerseys with the star players' names on the back of them for a big profit, yet the players who work hard every day at the sport they play don't get anything. College should be giving some of that money to the name on the back of the jersey. Now that I've discussed the NCAA using the student athletes' names as revenue, let me move on to the next point, which is the NCAA punishes players that use their likeliness for profit. The NCAA has set rules for players to keep them from using their likeliness for profit. In 2008, Sean Hassler and Ray Yasser wrote an article called "J.J. Morrison and His Rights of Publicity: Lawsuit Against NCAA." They talk about the NCAA prohibiting star student athletes from receiving any financial rewards for their popularity. The NCAA punishes student athletes for making money off their popularity, but does not give players any royalties for the money they make off the student athletes' popularity. In conclusion, student athletes should get paid for the time they put into the sports they play and the revenue they bring in. Student athletes put a tremendous amount of time into playing sports in the NCAA. This is time that they could be working or studying, but they are practicing instead. The student athletes deserve to receive some of the revenue that they bring in. The NCAA should profit off the student athletes who are doing all the work but not receiving any rewards. Student athletes should not be punished for profiting from their own fame. The NCAA should not be as successful as it is without the student athletes that work hard to be great in the sports they play. The NCAA owes it to the student athletes to reward them for the revenue that they bring into the NCAA. And that's why I think the student athletes in the NCAA should be paid.